Full-time score in the Enterprise National League this afternoon. It has finished Altrincham 2, Brackley Town 1. Altrincham interim manager Neil Gibson joins us. Neil, 3 wins on the bounce. It's looking quite easy out there.
It's far from it, as we all know, obviously, in terms of the National League. Every game that you win in the National League, you have to work really, really hard for. Really pleased today for a lot of people, obviously, at the football club, because the players have been fantastic in their approach to how, since we've came in, and you know, we only came in 3 weeks ago on Thursday, and 5 games in a quick space of time. They bought into everything we've asked of them. They're working extremely hard to try and change the results around for this football club, and the people off the pitch have been really supportive of that, and a massive credit to the groundsman, because obviously in terms of today's the weather in the last 2 days, you know, a lot of people thought that the game might have been off, but the pitch played wonderfully well for us again, and the way that we're trying to play in possession, it really helps us when the pitch is as good as it is, and helps to build the momentum forwards for what we're looking for, which is to keep this run going, obviously, as long as we possibly can. You know, if anything, it shows the strides that we've made, that in the last minute when we concede obviously our first goal in 4 league games since we've come in, the players are really, really disappointed about it, because we put so much emphasis on keeping the ball out of our net.
We got a nice early goal, and really good to see James Gale on the score sheet. He should have had a goal last week, which was wrongly disallowed, and he's put in a really good shift again today. He's an excellent player. Yeah,
he is. Look, we're pleased for Gailey, because sometimes the way that it's worked out with himself and Jimmy Knowles, they've kind of been sharing the responsibilities of the 95 minutes, you know, between them. Gailey starting, Knowlesy coming on in the last couple of games, and it's been the other way around at times as well. But between them, we know what qualities they've got, and sometimes when you work extremely hard for 60 minutes, like last week against Truro, and he didn't get his goal that he deserved, he got that today. And I think ultimately, if the group understand how important it is to play for each other, so when we've got players coming off the bench today that can make a huge difference to the team, it tells us how far we've come, because earlier on in our period of time here, we probably weren't able to fill the bench with the numbers. So it's good to have a couple of players back and keep that competition for places.
What happened in the incident midway through the first half? There was a coming together, shall we say, between you and Gavin Cowan, and Mr. Ethan Ross has stepped in.
Yeah, I mean, look, football's a passionate game, and you know, any team that I'm going to manage, they're going to make sure that everybody within who's associated with the football club knows that I'm giving absolutely every ounce that I've got to make sure that this football club wins games, and I'm going to stand up for every single player that I've got in the changing room and every single staff member. So when, you know, the discussion is something that happens in football, sometimes you fall out during 90 minutes with opposing managers, and then you shake hands after the game and move on. That's football, that's what it's about. So ultimately, you know, we're a team, we're together in terms of players and staff and people off the pitch, and we're trying to build that connection with the supporters, so that supporters can hopefully see the difference that we're making in trying to build that connection with the group and the supporters, so that they can see that everyone's fighting for each other. And sometimes that means standing up for yourself, and we'll always ensure we do that.
You must have been particularly pleased that there was no stage in the game where it appeared that Brackley were taking over, or that we're under a huge amount of pressure. Obviously, we had things to deal with, but we looked in control of that game pretty well from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about the importance of, well, kind of what we've had to do here at the football club. We've got a lot of good footballers, we've got a lot of good people in the changing rooms, but maybe the confidence wasn't quite there in the way that the season had panned out so far. So to build that confidence in the group, you've got to start winning games of football. You've got to look like you're in control, in possession and out of possession. So we've worked tirelessly on the training ground to ensure that the players feel comfortable what we're asking them to do in possession, what we're asking them to do out of possession, and how hard it is that they need to work to ensure that we win those games of football and win those moments, so that we feel in a game we're in control and the confidence can build from there. So obviously 10 points from 12 so far in the league is something that the players can be really proud of, and it's something that gives us an opportunity to build, and the league table looks obviously a lot better than it did 3.5 weeks ago.
Tom Crawford scored the second goal. He's had a couple of headers disallowed in recent games against Tamworth and Boston United. He's a real threat in the air.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't like singling players out, but I thought TC was him and Ozzy really controlled the game for us at times, in possession and in that midfield where at times there was an overload for the opposition. I thought TC's stature has grown in the last couple of weeks and we're starting to see the real sort of levels of quality that he's got. And it's nice sometimes when you get the icing on the cake because, again, we talk about confidence, it builds that confidence. And I thought there was nothing really wrong with his header against Boston. So, again, I think he can be a threat from midfield. You think about 2 or 3 half chances he had against Braintree, and if he takes one of those, we may be 4 from 4. So, he has the quality to arrive in the box and he is a threat, but we've got a lot of good players at the moment who are capable of scoring goals if we can create the chances that we're currently creating.
So you're interim manager, you've got 10 points out of 12. It looks like you're in the box seat.
No, look, we've been asked to come in and obviously do a job, for the football club. And, I'm a National League manager. I've managed in the National League last season. I want to be managing, at the highest level I can manage. And obviously, what we're doing is we've asked for a response from a group of players, and the players have been absolutely fantastic. Staff have been fantastic in their response to us. And obviously, the results are really nice for them and the people at the football club, that they can start to breathe a little bit easier now with looking at the league table and build some momentum that we can do moving forward.
And one player who goes about his business very, very quietly but very, very effectively, and he's been outstanding, I think, since you've come in, is Jake Cooper.
Yeah, look, we've been really fortunate in a way because obviously Coops was injured for a few weeks prior to me coming into the role, and came back just on the Tuesday night against Winsford before we came in, and we've managed him really carefully in and around the training week to ensure he's fit to go onto the pitch. He enables us to play with the sort of formation and style of play that we want, and he's taken onto that in really, really strong way. And ultimately, he's been ill a little bit this week, so for him to put in a level of performance like that, there's been a bit of illness in the camp for himself and Tom Crawford and and Keaton Ward, but they've come over that and been able to contribute to the team, which shows the levels of respect they've got for themselves and each other, is that no one wants to be letting each other down, and even when they're ill, they'll be out there on the pitch giving everything for the football club.
And a massive boost to get 3 points again today, particularly with 2 very tough-looking fixtures on the horizon. A long trip to Southend, which is always a very difficult place to go, and then Scunthorpe United are here in a fortnight's time. Yeah,
absolutely. Look, I think when you look at the National League, you'll probably look at certain fixtures which are going to be very difficult to get something from. We don't feel that. We look at every fixture and think this is an opportunity for us to pick up points. You can see that everybody on their day is capable of beating everybody, but if we play to the very best of our ability, we give ourselves a chance against whoever we go into. So we dust ourselves down, we enjoy the hard work that this week has brought us, which is 3 points, and the rewards that comes with that, and we now come up with a game plan very quickly to work on during the week so that we ensure we're as competitive as we can be at Southend, and we go there and try and get a positive result for the football club.